Once again, warm welcome to the channel, Flight Sim and other stuff, and we're back with the StreamDeck from Elgato and a couple of tips and tricks in this short one. And the first one I want to talk about is multi-action buttons, and a couple of ideas that might help you. And I'm also going to talk about using two StreamDecks and how you can do some clever stuff if you've got two StreamDecks. So I've got a StreamDeck XL and a standard StreamDeck. That's the small 15 button one. So I'm going to show you a little bit of that. But let's look at the multi-actions first. So I'm just going to jump down here, and we're looking at my wrong StreamDeck at the moment. So let's go to the XL. And let me go into this one. So here is the A320, and this is a good example of how I'm going to use a multi-action and the problem I'm going to solve, or one of the issues I have. So we have on the standard StreamDeck profile, the one from Gonzelli, down the bottom right hand side there's a button that says MCDU, and when you're taken into that, you've now got the MCDU, and you can go to the ABC buttons, etc, etc. The only problem is, having gone into the MCDU, you then have to navigate your views. Let's put the mouse in there. Yeah, so I then have to go down to there, unless you're going to do it blind, but that would be senseless. So wouldn't it be a good idea if the one button did both? And actually, let's reset this. If you look at the top row of my StreamDeck there, the fourth button along the top, also labelled MCDU, and when I click that button, watch what happens. It does both things at the same time, and that's a multi-action. So, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do. So let's reset things and go to the top. So I want to convert this button. At the moment, this button, if we I'm clicking in the wrong place. If I click on that button, and I need to make my StreamDeck now a bit bigger so you can see everything that's going on, and that's too big. Yeah, that's pretty good. So at the moment, this is an action that changes the page, or changes the profile, to the MCDU base. And if I was go up to the left hand side here and go to MCDU base, that's the page it takes you to. Let's go back. So I'm going to convert this into a multi-action, and that process is really easy. I right click and I select move to multi-action. So we're now into a multi-action, and the first action is switch the profile. The next action I want to do is the keyboard shortcut for the view, which is the MCDU, and for the life of me I can't remember. So here's one I've done previously, and it was Control 5. So my next action in this multi-action, the first action is to change the profile, so I've got the MCDU page up on the StreamDeck, and the next action will be a keyboard shortcut. So we go hotkey, move that over to the left hand side. Oh, I've just noticed that you didn't see that because I've got that cut off. Let me expand the screen a little bit. That's better. Now you can see what I'm doing. So I selected from the system directory, I selected hotkey, and I dragged that over to there. And now I need to program the hotkey and click to assign. So it was Control 5. So I do Control and 5 with the keyboard. Just so when you come and edit this later or want to know what's happening, rather than leave Control 5 in there, it might be a good idea to put MCDU view in as the description. So that's it. Obviously the icon needs to be updated, so we'll click on here and we'll go to Files, and then as per the other video I showed you how to change the icons, you will just drag the icon over and you will give it a title, MCDU, and there's the button that does it. I'm going to get rid of this one. This is my temporary one I created earlier. So if I go back to the simulator now, let's reduce the size of this, and I press that MCDU button, nothing happened because I wasn't clicked in, probably. Let's try that again. MCDU. That's better. Obviously for keyboard shortcuts, your flight simulator window has to be in focus, so your mouse has to be inside there. So that's pretty good. And the top left hand button labeled A320 takes me back to the main screen. And I suddenly thought, as I was getting ready to do this video, wouldn't it be a good idea if I did the same thing there, but when I went back to the main view, it went to the main view in the cockpit, which makes sense to me. So let's go back to the MCDU, and I'm now going to program this button. At the moment it changes the profile back to the main view. I'm going to right click on here and move to a multi-action, and then I need the keyboard shortcut for main view, which I think is 1, 2, 3, oh, I can't remember. So I do have on my other StreamDeck, oh, it's a space button to reset the view. So let's go back here. So this first action is to take me up one, and I also want to do a space bar to reset the view. So if we go to hotkey and drag that over, click to assign, I put space, and then reset view, multi-action. Again, we got the wrong icon in there, so as before we change the icon, whoops, wrong one, and you do as before, you go to the icons which I showed you before. So Gonzali has got an icon pack on flightsim.to, so all these icons are there for you already. There's the folder icon, and I just need to give it a title, A320. Size of that text is a bit smaller, and I noticed that on the other button I created. It should be, looking at the text button, 11 point default. This one is 8 point. We'll make it 11 point. Text is the right size there. So go up. This one here, the text should be 11 points. There we go. So let's activate or bring to focus the flight simulator. And now when I press MCDU, it changes view, and when I go back, it resets. Isn't that brilliant? So that's multi-actions. Now let's just bring this up, because there's a couple of other things I want to quickly mention on this. I have to do some work now. So that was great for the MCDU, because the MCDU was just a switch to another profile. Some of the other buttons here though, like on the ground, if I click on that one, it wasn't a multi-action. What it is, if we look at on the ground, it is actually a folder of items. So when I open this up, it's a sub-page, if you like. It's a folder of actions. So that's not, I can't put a folder of actions inside a multi-action. So there's a couple of things you can do. What I've actually done here is I've programmed up a button here, third one along, fourth one along, top row. I've put Control 8. It's a keyboard shortcut, and I took a screenshot of the overhead panel. So when I press that key, if I'm in focus, and let's bring that down. So I click on that key, that takes me up to the overhead panel. So it doesn't switch automatically. The other option would be to copy and paste all of these keys here, into a new profile, and instead of making it a sub profile or a sub page, just make it a new profile and switch profiles to this one the same way as you do on the eCam. So that's a bit more work, and it's probably nicer because I like that one-stop action. So I might work on that, and if I do that, I will publish the profile on flightsim.to, where instead of having sub pages, we have different pages for everything. So that was that. I thought I'd also mention the fact that I've got 2 StreamDecks, and that has a benefit as well. So if I look at my other StreamDeck, which is this one here, you can see it's currently set up. If I zoom in, the main buttons along here are all the views on the aircraft, so I can go from the PFD to the eCam to the MCDU, center console, throttle quadrant, etc., and EFB. So they're all set up. These are just keyboard shortcuts, and I've taken screenshots and put them in. So it's a great way of changing views. Very, very fast. In fact, if we move this down, go back to the simulator and activate it. So if I go to primary flight displays, flight control computer, there, eCam, MCDU, so all of those buttons, as I go around them, changes views very quickly. And I've actually done this for every aircraft, which is another useful feature. And let's go back to my Excel and go back to here. You can see these buttons along the top. When I click on them, they're actually all, or some of them, are multi-action buttons. And the multi-action I'm doing on here does 2 things. The first action is change the profile to A320, on the current StreamDeck, and the second one changes the profile on the StreamDeck standard, not the XL, because I'm actually in the XL profile here, and it changes the XL to the Airbus views. So now when I press the first button here on the StreamDeck XL, it takes me to the StreamDeck XL page here, and it puts the views up on the second StreamDeck, which is really useful. I've done the same thing for the C172. So if I click on the C172, 2 actions, changes the current StreamDeck profile to C172, and it changes the StreamDeck profile on the StreamDeck, the little one, the 15, to Cessna. So let me show you that. If I press the C172, There's the C172 profile with all the buttons for the C172. And on the standard Stream Deck, there are the view buttons for the Cessna. So there's 2 tricks, 2 tips for you. Multi-actions, really useful. And if you're lucky enough to have 2 Stream Decks, I started off with the 15 button because it was cheapest and it was readily available when I got into this. And then I soon discovered that it's nice having a big Stream Deck. But that little one, just having the camera views on, really useful. And you could do other stuff with the small one. Excuse me. Another idea for you. If I go to the A320 profile and then have a look what's on the standard Stream Deck, I've got a picture of a drone that has 2 actions on it. The 2 actions are system hotkey, which is the insert key, and it switches the Stream Deck profile on the Stream Deck, the small one, to something called drone. So let's press that and show you what happens. 2 things will happen. I'll move this out of the way very quickly. And if I press that drone button on the small Stream Deck, it switches to the drone. Come back out again. Go back in again. Whoops. I just function. Go back in again. So, and on the small Stream Deck, the profile now has control buttons for moving or controlling how the drone works. For actually moving the drone around the screen, I would strongly recommend you go out and get one of these, an Xbox controller. Because now with the Xbox controller, if I connect this, and let's make the simulator a bit bigger so you can see it. So if this is connected properly, yeah. So my joysticks, my twin joysticks move me around with the drone. It's a great way to look around, walk around, or if you're into making videos, it's a great way of making videos. And I think all of that was set up automatically when you're in drone view, or showcase view as they call it. These buttons all do. So 2 joysticks, this top left hand one, left, right, in, out, the bottom analog, the bottom analog joystick, rotate, left and right, rotate, up and down. And then the shoulder keys, I hate that view, but, and then the back shoulder keys, up and down. Triggers. Shoulder keys, triggers. I'm not a gamer. I don't know what you call these buttons. Anyway. So. I wasn't even going to do that. So, that is it. A short one. I think it's a short one anyway. Let's have a look at the time. Yeah, 19 minutes. That's short for me. Multi-actions on the Stream Deck. So, there will be more from the Stream Deck. Let's come back to here. I'll do more on the Stream Deck next week. I found a fantastic utility which I'll go through to make your own icon packs. Really useful, quicker way of getting icons onto the Stream Deck. And a bit more about working the Stream Deck in collaboration with the X-Touch Mini. As usual, I hope this was useful to you, and enjoy your flying. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Of course, if you've got any questions, you know what to do. Stick them in the questions below. Until then, goodbye, he says.